Hello everybody, Xander here, and today we are back with another book review. We are starting off October. September's not quite done yet, but we're working on that. But we gotta speed things up and start October with a digital book this time. Batman, Absolute Batman, #1, released this month and this year. The first issue in a new comic series following a new DC universe, coinciding with the classic one, with this universe being about all the classic DC characters in kind of new forms. Absolute Batman was written by Scott Snyder. I believe the other two are artists, either the colors or pencils. I haven't done research on that, but the other two responsible for this are Nick Dragotta and Frank Martin. And like I said, this is a much more fundamentally different Batman than we've kind of seen in a lot of adaptations of the character. So this Batman, as a lot of people have seen, of course, is much more massive. He is like 250 pounds, 6 foot 6 inches, and that's, I think, official info according to the sort of design breakdown by Scott Snyder. Like, there's that image that has the sketches and like the little bits of info. I'm pretty sure that's true. And so it's not only a larger Batman, but he is also not rich, which is probably one of the bigger changes to the character. He's no longer rich, or never was in this universe. Bruce Wayne is now a civil engineer. He is still very smart, very gifted, and he crafted his own suit. He's like got this special new cape that sort of is programmable and can like move in various ways, and is based actually on bat wings, which is pretty cool. But I guess let's go more into detail. So we're gonna actually go into the story of Absolute Batman #1, and that's gonna contain spoilers. So if you don't want that yet, you want to actually read this, then go read it, however you're able to do that. And if you have read this comic or just want to know about it, then stick around. Alright. So, like I said, Bruce Wayne is a very different kind of guy now. He is much more focused on exercise, apparently, even though Bruce Wayne already was kind of like that. In like the first part of it, or the first introduction of Bruce, there's this other guy boxing at the same like gym, and he almost looks like Bruce Wayne a little bit. It's almost to catch you off guard before the real Bruce in this universe comes in and just lays into that punching bag, putting a hole in it. But the actual introduction is for another character in this universe, Alfred, who is now like a mercenary for hire. He's still very much was part of the British Special Forces. Like, he's been in a lot of iterations, but now he has nothing to do with Bruce Wayne at this point. So he's very much uncharted territory so far, just like Bruce. So Bruce Wayne, like I said, is a civil engineer, and he hangs out at this gym, and one of his friends, his childhood friend, owns the gym, Waylon Jones, who in the DC universe normally is Killer Croc, but he's just a normal guy at this point, and he's very much into reptiles. He's got like a snake wrapped around his arm, and we instantly get established that not only is Bruce friends with Waylon, but their other childhood friends are classic Batman villains, seemingly before they become villains, or, you know, them just not as villains. We'll have to wait and see on that one. I'm very excited about that. Like, already we get a name drop from Oz, aka, you know, the Penguin, and Selena, so that's pretty cool. Catwoman. And it seems like the gym is going for financial trouble, and that's clearly, you know, a new element added in. Not only is Bruce, you know, not rich, but he and his friends are clearly, you know, struggling a bit in the city of Gotham. So there's that. Pretty interesting. And not only that, as we see through you know, news footage sprinkled out throughout the comic, there's this new gang called the Party Animals, who are laying waste to Gotham, being very indiscriminate on who they brutally massacre. And that includes, you know, kids, families, animals, all kinds of living things. And that does not sit well with Batman, obviously. During all of this, we also get a little sneak peek at our villains, our main villains. Not really the party animals, but the person who's orchestrating them. And that is Roman Sionis, aka Black Mask, who, like I said, a lot of characters have different, more unique designs that are still recognizable, but still, well, quite different. So Black Mask has like this kind of like ball sphere sort of thing as like the majority of his mask, but there's still like the skull aspect on the like rest of it. And he's having a meeting with you know, two of Gotham's most well-known old crime bosses, the Falcones and the Maronis. So they're having to deal with them. And we get you know, the established Black Mask is the one sort of sending out the party animals, even though these older mob bosses think they're too chaotic for, you know, what they're trying to do. And Black Mask establishes his weird affinity for masks, just like in the comics. It calls them death masks, and they are clearly like based on the people he kills. I don't think they're like the actual faces of the people he kills, because once he starts talking about them, it turns out that Falcone and Maroni's faces are death masks, and that's when they get killed. So I'm pretty sure they're just regular masks. So there's that. Meanwhile, the city's having a, you know, meeting about these party animals and what they're going to do about them, and almost everyone's blaming Mayor James Gordon, who's no longer the commissioner but the mayor. Nice little promotion there. And it seems like Bullock is now the commissioner, which is an interesting choice from Gordon, seeing how he is still clearly a hothead, like every version of Bullock, but it's still kind of fun. Wouldn't you know it, the party animals you know, try to, you know, kill everyone at this meeting, because of course they do. They almost kill the mayor, but they are immediately taken out of the courthouse, which is just surprising everyone. And I'm pretty sure Gordon's daughter, Barbara, tries to see what's going on. I'm pretty sure she is a cop in this universe, and she opens the doors and sees Batman, who tells her to, you know, keep the doors locked, and whatever happens, do not exit. And that's when we finally see our boy, our thick boy, the Batman. And he looks pretty good. I've gotten used to this design. I kind of love it. Um, we get to see most of the features of it. Obviously, the stuff we've heard about already, like how his bat symbol turns into an axe. Like I guess he's got like a handle strapped to his belt, and he, sticks it on and turns into an axe, which he uses to like cut off this big dude's hand. This guy who's got a big cleaver, and he like tells him that he can either bleed out or he can flee and get his hand reattached by a hospital, and he does the latter. So already this Batman's pretty brutal, and it is established that he doesn't kill, so that's something I was wondering about, but we get confirmation. As brutal as, that is, But hey, he doesn't kill. He beats up a bunch of the party animals with his programmable cape, which is pretty cool. And then the party animals start fleeing, and it turns out he like set explosives into the steps, like the staircase leading to the courthouse, and they start flying. But I guess he doesn't kill them. And Alfred is observing all of this, as his employers have wanted him to, because they didn't want him to interfere with, the murder. But Batman doesn't care. So there's that. And then Alfred eventually follows Batman around, trying to survey him more. And right away he figures out who he is, which is surprising. But it's also interesting that in his narration he like mentions that it was easy enough to figure out who Batman was just because he doesn't have much of a social life. So it's kind of interesting that it was somehow easier to figure out who Batman was in this case because he wasn't rich. So it kind of confirms that the Bruce Wayne persona in the normal Batman universe works better in a sense. But not only do we find that out, but we also learn that Bruce's mom is still alive in this world. Turns out only his dad was killed tragically, because his dad was a teacher who was working for the school Bruce went to, and they were going on a field trip to the zoo. And not only that, we also learned that Bruce, as a kid, was obsessed with bats, which helped in his choosing of the bat for his symbol. It's kind of cool. But in this flashback, we also see that some sort of shooter came into this zoo trying to make a name for himself, I guess, like most of those assholes. And Bruce's dad leads all the kids into like the I think the bat exhibit, like a room with a door, and tells Bruce and the others whatever they hear, do not open the door, just like Bruce told Barbara. He shuts the door, and that's where we leave that flashback. But I'm guessing we're going to get a little more on that later. And that's when we get the closing scene in this comic, where these helicopter guys are picking someone up on a rooftop. And who is that man? It's the Joker. But it's not the Joker we all know and love, because this man seems like a regular dude, but the thing is, he never smiles and never makes a joke. So it's like mob boss logic, or mobster logic, where you're given a ironic nickname sometimes. Like if you're a really big guy, you're called Tiny. So that's interesting. I'm wondering how they're gonna do Joker in that case. He might still be, a psycho, but who knows? And that was the story of Absolute Batman #1. Really strong start. I love this. I love, how much they've changed, but, there's plenty of stuff that's still pretty similar, but I love what they've changed and how they did it. And, like, it's, a lot of interesting stuff. Again, it's cool to see Batman doing a lot of the stuff that he does, even without the money and all the fancy training. Because I'm assuming this Batman doesn't really know a lot of special martial arts. He's just, probably a, simple fighter. And I'm sure his mass is going to accommodate for his lack of, full-blown skill or finesse in combat. Again, I like the programmable cape that can kind of morph, because he uses the sort of end of his cape to toss a guy across from him, outside the courthouse, which is pretty cool. The axe is interesting. It's interesting. It's not my favorite thing, just because I don't know, but it's interesting. It also sort of does something new with some Batman stories where it turns out his bat symbol is like a batarang embedded into his chest, which is kind of what Matt Reeves, the Batman, did. So there's that. I forgot to mention, before the Joker saying, there's also a part where Alfred kind of tried to kill Batman at his sort of lair, which was like a skyscraper that is empty, but he built it. And Batman knows he's there and tries to take him out, and not only that, but he stole Alfred's very special, one-of-a-kind, well, not really one-of-a-kind, there's 3 of them, but special shotgun, and he messed with it to make it non-lethal and shoot tiny batarangs that will go into Alfred's face, which is kind of another thing of how did you not kill him. It's still cool though. It's still cool. And that's kind of actually where it ends for Batman in this story, but oh well. Again, I like the idea of making some of Batman's classic villains know Bruce personally. And again, I'm wondering if they're actually going to have these people, at least some of them, turn into villains in some way, because it kind of could be like a Spider-Man thing where, Spider-Man knew all these people before, or knew most of these people before they turned into bad guys. So that could be cool. Overall, I really like this. This is a strong start. Probably the most excited I've been for a Batman comic run. And again, I made a Spider-Man comparison just a second ago. This is kind of like the new Ultimate Spider-Man, where it makes a lot of changes, but they're so unique, so cool, that, it doesn't matter that they're changes. I want to see where this goes. Absolute Batman does that a little more. But either way, I'm intrigued and excited. And it really helps justify this. The amount of changes, the amount of ideas that they're doing. Otherwise, it'd be another Batman comic. But this is a little something else. So yeah, I'm excited for the rest of this. Let me know what you guys thought. Also, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate that. Check out some of my other stuff, book-related and TV, movie sort of related. I do a few things. Nothing concrete, really. And Batman-related, of course. The Penguin, I'm reviewing that series and stuff like that. So I'll see you guys next time, and take care.